All right. Well, aloha and welcome everyone to Promptings Stories, where we highlight a business or an organization, learn about what they offer, what they do, and how they also use our services in their day-to-day activities. So today we get to hang out with Kara England, woohoo, of the Radical Hale. And we're going to learn more about what she does. And she's actually ready to go out into the streets. So you'll get to hear more about that. But first, I want to say thank you for tuning in. My name is Marianne Roos, and I help entrepreneurs to unlock the power of human connection, become a magnet for their dreams, and release the badass that they truly are. So with that said, though, let's go right into it. And let's talk a little bit more, Miss Kara. So welcome to Prompting Stories. Tell me more and our audience about what you do and why you are so passionate about it.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for inviting me on Prompting Stories. My name is Kara England, and I am the founder of the Radical Hale. We do outreach with aloha. I know that sounds kind of hokey, but when we approach individuals on the street who are struggling with homelessness, or what we're trying to say now is houselessness, because a home is where your heart is. And for those on the street, they all have hearts, and this is their home for now. So we struggle with those living on the streets. And our three core values is to promote peace, show compassion, and inspire others. And how we do this, when we go out onto the street, we do outreach. And we keep those three things in mind when we approach anyone who is on the streets and need help. And how we do it is through bringing emergency food and clothing and shower kits to build the rapport. And then once they are trusting us and they are ready to move on to the next level, we kind of coordinate their medical care and see the medicines they need. And we're not medical doctors. We're just coordinators. We're their medical advocates. We actually go with them to the doctor's appointments, listen to what the doctor's saying, making sure our clients fully understand what's going on. And then as they're talking to the doctor, I make sure that the doctors understand what they're coming from, because sometimes they miss details. And over the weeks, I've been developing this relationship, so I know exactly what they're struggling with. So it's kind of like bridging the gap of miscommunication. And then we process of housing, which is a daunting and very frustrating point for all of us. Citizens that walk by those living on the streets, people in the industry who are trying to get them off the streets. It's just a tedious process. And unfortunately, it can take over a year to 2 years to get them off the streets.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of hurdles that you help them to overcome. And I can only imagine, because I've not been in that situation, but I can only imagine the struggle and the stress that somebody is under when they are houseless, to even where to start.
Exactly.
And to have
it's really listening to where they're coming from, understanding their mental state. A lot of it is mental illness and drug addictions that really keep them on the streets. And it's really their mental illness and their drug addictions that make them the hardest to reach. And because of those two things, I'm finding that the family gives up. The family gives up. So when the family gives up, it becomes a societal issue. And that's where we come in, because we realize they have no one to go to. I've heard the stories. I've actually called people and said, your brother's here at so-and-so park, and he just got out of the hospital and he needs help. Yeah, we've been helping him for 40 years. I'll call him, I'll reach him over there. They never come. Yeah. They burned out, and that's just human nature.
Yeah.
And because of that, as a society, we can't allow individuals to die in our streets. It's just it's unfathomable to me. I just can't understand that. And yeah, so that's why the Radical Hale is trying to make a difference in Hawaii. Yeah.
Wow. And so you are on Oahu, and the services that you provide, it's all volunteers.
For now.
It's people going out into the streets, just like you're getting ready to do that today. You've got your scrubs on, you've got your hat. That way they know that you are part of the Radical Hale, and you're building those rapports, but you are out in the streets. You're not behind a desk making phone calls where some organizations have a lot of support, where they have people that get to do that. For you as the founder, you're also volunteer. You're out there, you're seeing what the needs are, and you also need support. Besides volunteers, you need financial support. And how do you get that support? Where do people, where does that support come from?
Sometimes it's word of mouth. I am a member of the Rotary, the Rotary clubs. I'm Kapolei. I'm a member of the Kapolei Rotary Club. Through that, it's it's founded by volunteers, and they give me support. Word of mouth, my friends, my neighbors, they were like, "Oh gosh, Kara, what's next? What's going on with you?" And I'm like, "Okay, this is what I'm doing." I have a friend. Her name is Jan. I'm telling you, from day one when we started this in the beginning of COVID, July 20, I told her, Jan, this is what I'm doing. I can't stand seeing people on the streets that are not being serviced, because I'm driving food around, right? A volunteer started doing food distributions and noticing on the streets, it's like, hey, is anyone helping? So I called her, and she goes, what do you need for me to do? I said, well, I have access to food for now, but they're asking for like toothpaste and toothbrushes and soap. And, you think you can help me with that? And she goes, sure, girl. And she comes up the next day with a box full of hygiene products. And that's how it all got started, between just calling my friend Jan. Then over the years, it's been 3 years now since we've had our organization. Jan knows so-and-so. And then I start getting all these, donations.
Word of mouth, and reaching out to the people, the relationships that you have built, to where people know your heart, and they know that the work that you're doing is something that makes a difference, and that they believe in you, and they trust in you, and they believe in the vision that you have.
Exactly. That's what Jan said. She goes, Kara, I've always known the work that you do, because this is not my first rodeo. I've done work for 25 years. This just happens to be something brand new. Never done outreach. I have no social work background. I am, I just feel like it's time for a change. And my passion to help those who are truly, truly the most vulnerable in Hawaii. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is something that, with the change in economy, the way that the world went upside down, it's really affecting a lot of people. And even here on the Big Island, since we're on different islands, I'm on the island of Hawaii, we're noticing also big changes in the houseless community. And something that I was feeling sad about the other day, actually, is there is a big property that's getting cleared. So I'm thinking that there's going to be construction happening. And through clearing of that property, where we can see it from the gym where we go to work out, there were so many people living in those bushes areas. And there was a lady, actually, to where I could see her little camp site from the spot where I like to work out.
Mm-hmm.
every day she would have the routine to where I could see her getting out of her little tent, brushing her teeth. She always kept her area nice and clean, and do where, specific people that would stop by and bring food, to where there are so many people that need it and that need the support, and they do the best they can with what they've got. And sometimes they just don't know what else is available or how to even take that next step.
And that's it. They don't. I mean, I had to learn this system myself, and I still don't know all the ins and outs. And it's been 3 years. And the reason why I started the Radical Hale is because my business got shut down on March 27th, 2020. It went from having clients to 0 clients the next day, as soon as the declaration was made. Instead of being angry and frustrated, I took 2 weeks to clean my house, but then I happened to watch Hawaii News Now, and there was an organization that was starting called Hawaii Help is on the Way. And I called them up and said, listen, I'm available to help. What can I do for you? They interviewed me a little bit, and then we did food distributions. I drove food around the island for the kupunas, picked up food from Foodland, dropped it off at the lady's house. That was great. And that lasted, from April, May, June. On July is when I started to notice, hey, no one's helping the homeless. There was no support for them. Because I found out later that the agencies that had outreach workers, they pulled their workers into the office because of the pandemic. It was a risk factor. But I come from the medical industry. That's why I wear the scrubs, because I'm so comfortable in the scrubs. I know that I can wash my hands. I stay 6 feet away. So I do elbows or the air bumps in the beginning. I washed my hands and wore a mask. And I guess, should I be knocking on wood? I never got sick, ever. Still to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, just following this 3-step, and when you're in the hospital, they tell you that you mask up, you wash your hands, you take off if you have to go into a room, you derobe, you're fine. I know this is a really bad virus. I get it. But I guess maybe being outside, that was maybe one of the factors that kept me from getting sick, because the air is flowing, you're not trapped in a building. And what's really interesting, that the people that I was working with for a couple of years, they really didn't get sick either. Interesting. Being outside. Right. They didn't practice masks. I mean, they said, can you have masks? Oh, I have tons of masks, take it off. But when they come to me, they have no mask, no hand sanitizers. And I said, hey, have you been sick? Because then at one point they gave you free tests. I said, I have some tests. Do you want to test to see? He goes, no, I'm not sick. I feel fine. It was amazing.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, and I'm one of those people that believes, and some people think it's kind of woo-woo, hippie kind of belief, but there's also scientific backing that shows that when you have positive energy and good thoughts about yourself, that it actually boosts your immune system. So I'm not making any medical claims, but there is scientific background to that as well. And that is one of the things that with our company, that we focus on spreading the joy, the happiness, the kindness, and to where it's all positive energy that we send out into the world. And there's always a way that energy comes back to us in one way or another. It's not always in the same fashion, but we know that the energy that we send out is the energy that comes back to us. And focusing on that positive, it affects our health as well. So I'm not surprised, because I'm not surprised that you have not gotten sick. And yes, all the other things that you were doing, played a role into that as well. But it's looking at all the different pieces of the puzzle. And when it comes to our products and services, the one that you use is our card service, which is what most people know as send out cards. But just in case we have some listeners that haven't heard about our company, it's actually called Promptings. And in a nutshell, what we provide is both products and services for relationship development. And there's relationship with others, there's relationship with ourselves. And what most people use or know about is our print on demand card service and also our fabulous gift selection. Like, I love this necklace that I was gifted that's in our gift selection. I've been wearing it for like almost 2 years, nonstop swimming and all that beach. And it just stays on me because it has special meaning. And we have a lot of things: webinars, seminars, in person, virtual, all that jazz. But it's all focusing on personal development, personal growth, relationship development, business, and so on. So my understanding is that the service that you use is the one that most people know about, which is to send out cards. And you use that for recognitions and thank yous. So what kind of thank yous do you get to do? Because you
Yeah.
are a nonprofit, though I know I have some ideas, but you go ahead and share.
Well, when you had said the word relationship, I have to share this with you. Okay. So I got money in the mail, and they had their address on their check. And one of them said that they saw me on KITV. It was one of my clients who had just passed away, waiting for housing, and KITV wanted me to share that story. So I did.
Mm.
And I guess a few weeks later, I get this check saying, "Thank you for the work that you do in Wahiwa. I appreciate you." It was just so genuine, handwritten. So I sent her a thank you card, which I love. It's so easy. And I use the Apple Valley, which looks like script. And really, when I use it for birthdays to my friends and everything, I use that one. They always think that I hand wrote it. It's just so interesting how they think that I actually hand wrote that letter. So anyway, so I send the card, and this donor called me back saying, "Wow, thank you for your beautiful card. Did you handwrite it?" And I said, "Well, it's a service that I use, and it's one of their scripts, but I just wanted to just thank you for thinking of the Radical Hale." And then the next thing I know, she sent me another check, and then I wrote her a card. And then I think after 3 checks, I sent her again, "Thank you." And then she called me and she says, "Kara, I love the work that you're doing. I've seen you actually on the street as I drive by in Wahiwa." I said, "Oh, next time say hi to me. I would like to meet you." And but you don't have to send us any cards anymore. I totally get it, and I appreciate you. So she put me on auto pay.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Every month I get her little donation through our checking account.
Excellent. And so, yeah, it's one of those things to where every month it doesn't have to be a card to say thank you for the donation. It's on
But
autopilot on her end.
it built a relationship. The word you just said, it built that relationship. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And you can
cool.
still, yeah, once in a while, you can still send her a card to let her know, hey, here's a couple updates of what we've been doing. And that, we really appreciate your support, to
We
where
do
it's
that.
not every month, but once in a while, hey, this is
No,
wonderful. And pictures. I don't know if you put pictures of any of your clients, because probably we need to ask permission, of them, but to
well,
show her,
do
the
that.
work.
We do their hands like we're giving them something. I said, "Can I take a picture? I'm gonna," and you're right. With your service, you can customize it. So I've added real pictures of us working with our clients' backs. I've
Mm.
pictures to my volunteers. Oh my gosh, this summer I had like 15 volunteers for like the whole summer. And I would take group pictures and I would send out thank you cards. It was so awesome. But what I was going to say about the pictures is that you're right. After I get a donation, I give them real life, like the impact of your donation. I was able to buy, and here's a story. Money came in, I went on the street, and this guy, I'd been working with him for a while, and he really needed some clothes. Like, he needed some shorts and a t-shirt. He really did. It was just tattered, and I didn't have any of his size at the time. I only had a lot of women's clothes at that time. So I told him, I said, "Listen, wait right here, and let me just go to Target." It was in town, so I went to Target and bought it. "Tell me your size." I bought his size. And that donor that sent me the money, I wrote her immediately after I got home that this is your impact. I was able to, on the spot, buy this gentleman a pair of shorts and a t-shirt because of your donation. It was legit. It was not a story. It's not a make-believe story. It was true because I now had money in my card, in my checking account. So I had a debit card, so I could just go to Target and
Wow.
do something right then and there instead of waiting and waiting for whatever, because it's a daunting to get anything in this industry. Unless you have direct donations, it's a lot of waiting. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, for things to trickle down. It's not, even if I called an organization that I know that they give donations, it might take a week for me to get it. It's just the way it is. It's not instantaneous.
Yeah. So having those recurring donations are very helpful than to have that on the spot need filled for that client. Wow.
Yeah.
I've got goosebumps. What a story. Powerful story. Wow. Thank you for sharing. And so for people that want to be able to support and help the work that you do, they can find the website, the Radical Hale online. They can make donations on there, but they can also reach you on the phone because you are on the streets. You're not behind the desk. So checking emails is not something that you actually have time for because you're what is that called? It's something you're on the beat. Is that the right word?
Yes. I know. I've learned to do everything off of my phones. I have two phones, a personal line and my work. I have two phones and sometimes they're both working and it's really good because sometimes I'm waiting on one, like Medicaid, I'm waiting on hold, but I want to do something else on my phone. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And so is it the business line that we should give to people to have them reach out to you as well?
Yeah, 373-0676. And it's a textable number if you just want to say hi. Or,
Okay.
I heard on the podcast. You said
and so and for those who are in other states that are on the mainland, for example, the area code is 808-373-0676 to where, is there a money to even text money? Is there a way to text money to a cell phone?
I don't think so.
It's just one of those thoughts that popped in my head. Maybe somebody will reach out and say, hey, you know what? I can set it up. I can send this for you and you can have it on your phone to where people can just do their donations. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Kara, thank you so much for being the guest today on Prompting Stories. The work that you do with the Radical Hale is from the heart. You have such a passion, you have such a drive, and the impact that you're making on the community, the ripple effect is like, we have no idea at this point how big of a ripple you are creating, but we know that the impact that you're having on each person's life individually, it's affecting generations to come. So the work that you're doing is very powerful and it is very important. So thank you for your heart. Thank you for your work. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you.
So everybody, thank you so much for listening in, and be sure to reach out to Kara and support if it's something that's on your heart, whether it's financial donation or spreading the word, because there's so many ways that you can support, even if financially is not something that you're able to do at this time. You can still spread the word if that's something that's on your heart. And everything that you do, the energy that you send out, comes back to you in one way or another. We totally believe that. So until next time, everybody, hoo-wee-ho.
Aloha.